Hey everyone, in this video I do want to talk about what my plans are for this week as far as my training and kind of the direction I'll be taking, at least for the short time being, and it could be more of a long term. It just kind of depends how I'm feeling, and I'll talk more about that later in this video. But before I get into that, I do want to kind of trash the moon a little bit. The moon up in the sky that I'm sure we're all familiar with, and if not, then go outside and look. You may see the moon tonight because it's supposed to be a supermoon, some sort of special moon out today. Today is November 14th, and perhaps I'm mistaken, but some people in the Walmart parking lot were talking about it, and really I wasn't impressed. It was kind of just an ordinary full moon. I've seen lots of full moons, and it just wasn't that impressive to me. But it should make the students crazy tomorrow, and it may make them extra crazy this whole week because it's a super moon. But that effect of the moon is kind of, it's weird that it's kind of a real thing, that it kind of makes kids a little bit crazy. But I'm really not impressed with this moon, so it may not have that big of a crazy effect as more than any sort of regular full moon does. But I don't know, that's more of pseudoscience than anything actually in reality. But I'll get into the actual topic of this video, and that's about my training for this week. So yeah, let's get right into that. So as I'm sure many of you are aware, if you follow any sort of things that I post on here on the YouTubes, that I've been getting over the flu, and for this week I think it'll be beneficial to me to kind of push what I do as far as the amount of reps that I'm doing in each set. I don't plan to do like 3 sets of 10 or anything like that, but more of just higher sets within the pyramids that I do, and a pyramid is just building up to a certain weight and then doing drop sets down to a certain weight. And with that I kind of manipulate how much I do in my build-up sets, how much I do in my drop-down sets, how much I do in my top sets. I can manipulate several different factors, but the one that I want to keep consistent with all the sets that I'm doing all the way up and down is just kind of the amount of reps that I'm doing. I'm thinking that I'll do a lot of sets of 5. I may try to do a little bit more than that, but I think that 5 will be a good number for me to aim for a lot of sets. And just because if I do anything more than that, it's just a lot more of just my cardio that is the limiting factor, and I just feel like garbage in between sets, and I'd rather do a little bit less than that. And 5 kind of is that middle ground in that area. If I do 6, 7, or 8, then I'm probably gonna really feel bad and just be really unmotivated in between sets. And that's a risk with doing higher reps, is that I'm just extremely unmotivated in between sets. If I have like a set of 2 or 3, then I have no issue, no matter what the weight is, to get under the bar or get to the bar and to do those sets. But I also want to do this week focus on a little bit more with Olympic lifting, and not so much, I just want to do more of it this week, simply to break in my shoes a little bit more. Not that they really need broken in, but I just kind of want to use them more for Olympic lifts and get more practice at those. So I won't be going too heavy with the Olympic lifts, but I'll be doing kind of high reps. It's kind of hard to do high reps with Olympic lifts, but more of just higher sets. And so tomorrow when I go in, because today is Monday like I mentioned, it's the Supermoon Monday, but I'll be doing Olympic lifts as well as bench pressing in some sort of capacity. I haven't decided about reps or anything like that, and that kind of speaks more to the kind of training that I'm doing now. It's loosely based on Shaco. A lot of the pyramid stuff is based on, and the rep schemes that I do is based on what I did with the Shaco program, so it's kind of loosely based on that, but I kind of put my own spin on it, and I don't really stick to percentages so much. I just kind of stick to what's been working and kind of try to linear progress from there, because I think I'm still at a stage of my lifting career right now where I can still kind of not use percentages as much and still progress, simply because my 1 rep max is going to be kind of moving rather quickly up, more so than a lot of people who are able to use kind of a percentage-based program and to progress that way. So I can kind of push myself a little bit more, especially since I'm young and I'm still at that beginner phase. I think I'm not quite to the intermediate phase as far as my strength levels, as far as my progress levels as my lifting, so I can kind of manipulate different things like that. But I've been going a lot week to week. I may do this high rep thing for a couple weeks, for a month. I haven't decided exactly. I definitely want to do it for this week, but it really depends how it feels, and if I feel really good, then I'll continue to do that. But I may kind of either just do this exclusively for several weeks, or I may just like mix it in to where it's a workout or it's one exercise a week or different things like that. But I do want to mix in more high rep stuff in some sort of capacity moving forward. in any of the ways that I mentioned. It could be exclusively or in some sort of more limited capacity, because I think that'll be more beneficial for me to get more high rep stuff with the main lifts in some sort of way. So I could have a week where like it's a higher rep week for squats and everything else is kind of regular. It could, it could be like that, or it could just be high reps for everything and then a low rep week or different things like that. But I do want to manipulate the amount of reps that I'm doing, because I have been manipulating the weights, the warm-up sets, or the build-up sets, the drop-down sets, the different exercises that I do. I've been mixing up a lot, and I haven't really been mixing up the reps as much as I would like to do. I have been on the bench press a little bit, but not so much on deadlifts and squat, and part of that is just I just don't like doing high reps with those. But with squat, especially with squats, but I'm gonna push through and get better at doing those, because I think it'll benefit me in the long term. And with deadlifts, it really does beat me up to do higher reps with that, but it will be a little bit easier because I do plan to do a little bit more touch and go. I have to play around with what I want to do as far as deadlifts go, and what weights and stuff I want to do, because it's just I am really I can do a lot of, it sounds kind of narcissistic, but I can do a lot of weight, so I could do like 5 reps at a really high percentage and do fine with it, especially if I'm using straps. I don't have to worry about my grip, but it's just it's really hard to recover in between sets, and it beats me up quite a bit. So I may do some block pulls or some sumo pulls or different things like that, and I may do a day of conventional pulling, but I have to kind of play around with what I want to do with that. That's probably the biggest thing I have to vary up, and I find that varying up my lifts as far as deadlifts go and what variation I do is extremely beneficial to me to just recovering in between days and being able to deadlift more, and not just doing conventional deadlift or sumo deadlifts all the time, but doing different versions, block pulls or clean pulls and snatch pulls and all that sort of shenanigans. But it should be an interesting week with that. And the last thing that I'll mention before I do wrap up this video is that with special education, there's a lot of paperwork and a lot of meetings and different things like that, but that will be easing off for really until winter break. There obviously will still be school stuff that I have to do, but especially for this next week, for this week and then the next 2 days of next week and then Thanksgiving, I'll have a pretty light workload, so I'll be able to put more focus in these kind of videos. So hopefully I'll be able to get a couple more videos than I normally do, and do some different things. Nothing that comes to mind, but perhaps a collaboration could be in order if that works out. There's a couple people I have in mind. I mentioned Derek Morrison before, and that potentially could work out. I'm not exactly sure how I would structure if we did a collaboration, and there's just different things related to that. So that's probably the biggest thing. Over Thanksgiving, I do plan to collaborate with Seth Goshorn, my one friend from college, from Purple Raiders, and I do plan to lift with him a couple different days, and it could be lifting with a couple other people from the area. So I'll be, whoever I do lift with, I do want to try to collab with, because I do want to try to do that more, because I think that's just a more beneficial thing, and it's more interesting to see the people that I'm around a little bit more, and the people that I'm friends with as far as people outside of the YouTubes, because many of you, I would consider us some friends of some sort, however you want to consider it, since it's through the internet. But I think it is interesting to see who people lift with as far as like on their day-to-day basis, because obviously I don't lift with like Boilermaker Tom or with Heroic Barbell or the various other people. Actually the only person I've literally lifted with via YouTube is Derek Morrison, and I guess it kind of worked out with that. But hopefully some of the collaborations work out, and I'm able to get some good videos. At least with Thanksgiving, I for sure will be able to get a video with Seth, at least one video, and hopefully with a couple other people I have in mind. But it really just depends on different people's plans, because it is Thanksgiving, so people will be going all over the place, so it may not be super feasible to do, but you never know. And I do have an awesome camera, so I do have the ability to record lots of video in lots of different places, and I have a tripod, so I don't need to have a cameraman or any of that. So hopefully that works out, and I can pump out some more interesting videos, and hopefully my videos of just me talking can be a little interesting in their own right. But let me know what you think of my plans for the week, potential collaborations, different shenanigans related to that, and also the supermoon. If you don't comment about anything, comment about this moon that's out there and how it's the special moon, and tell me first if I'm wrong. If this is not the supermoon day, it's tomorrow. When I go out tomorrow, it's going to be 10 times bigger and brighter. It's going to look like the sun, and I'm going to melt if I go out during the night. Or if this is supposed to be some sort of special supermoon and I'm just blind and I can't see anything, and I'm just a negative Nancy, and I should appreciate the nicer things in life. But really, I can't. It doesn't look that special to me out there. But anyhow, let me know what you think of those various things down below. And as always, thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.